So here's my question to all of you. Should we just, I don't know, abolish the police? What do you think?
I don't think so.
No. Well, let me show you the story. City Pages, Minneapolis. The city council members are considering disbanding the police. You heard it. It's no joke.
Holy moly.
They're literally talking about straight up disbanding the police. And they're talking about, here let me read this. They say the city council's discussion is starting to sound a little bit more like what groups like Reclaim the Block and Black Visions Collective have been saying for years. On Tuesday, Fletcher published a lengthy Twitter thread saying the police department was irredeemably beyond reform and a protection racket that slows down responses as political payback. Several of us on the council are working on finding out what it would take to disband the Minneapolis Police Department and start fresh with a community-oriented, nonviolent public safety and outreach capacity, he wrote. And then they have apparently this big thread on Twitter. It's an interesting idea that I wouldn't immediately say is the wrong idea.
Okay.
Not outright. Because we talked about this the other day with Black Lives Matter forming their own community policing.
Yeah.
The only problem is they straight up say they want nonviolent enforcement or something. I don't even know what they said. Like, you know, what is it? Transition will take time, voting capacity, blah, blah, blah. They mentioned something about removing, you know, the force or something from police so that they're not capable of killing people. What would happen if there was no police? What do you think?
I think, man, I mean, I playing Red Dead Redemption 2 pops in my head because it is literally the Wild West. You know, you're riding around, you could shoot some random person that's walking down the road and just walk off and run off, and it's like, so say that happened. Say someone just saw you and shot you and stole your wallet. What you want to call the local militia? It's like, are they going to be trained?
What would you do now?
I don't know.
Would you call the cops?
Well, yeah, of course.
I think maybe if we were to outright just disband the police, maybe it doesn't make sense. But they do bring up the transition period, and I'm thinking about it now. Like let's look, you know, if I'm walking down the street and someone walks up to me and shoots me, when I die,
right? I'm
not calling anybody.
Sure.
So it doesn't matter.
Okay.
And if someone, you know,
what if you don't die though?
And then I call the police. Well, they rush in. EMTs rush in.
Okay.
They take a report. Case closed. End of story.
Okay.
They're not going to find the person. They'll take the report and they'll say, oh, well, there you go. So, you know, when I hear from conservatives all the time about defending your, what's the saying when seconds count, the police are there in minutes?
Police are minutes away.
Yeah, when seconds count, police are minutes away. And so when I hear that people are saying you got to defend yourself, then the police mostly just become kind of a facilitator for, you know, legal administration in the long run.
Okay.
So someone breaks in your house, you kill them, the cops come, they take notice and they say, okay, and then they confer that to the courts or whatever as witnesses or as, you know, case or whatever, or as evidence for the case or whatever. So then maybe there's something to having the communities have to take care of themselves. Like it's interesting because we were talking about this the other day with Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, self-accountability.
Yeah, the guy Hank Newsom said he wants to have armed patrols that would, you know, watch their own communities. So maybe there is a way. I think disbanding the police is wrong. I think that is a utopian pipe dream.
Okay.
And I think maybe there is an argument towards defunding and reforming that involves more reliance on it pushes for more individual responsibility.
Well, let's talk about qualified immunity.
Yeah. So what does that basically mean?
So essentially, I believe it was like 50 years ago they passed this law that basically gave all police members qualified immunity. So essentially, if it essentially blocks them from being able to get sued outside, like in a civil court.
Yeah,
so they can't be sued. Go ahead.
Here's what it says on ABC.
I'll read it. Here it says.
Yeah.
With police misconduct in the spotlight, the U.S. Supreme Court on Thursday will consider whether to revisit the 50-year-old doctrine of qualified immunity for law enforcement officers, which has shielded cops from civil lawsuits, even in cases where citizens' rights have been violated. So even when, you know, it's been a violation, they aren't able to get sued.
Yep.
So if they do look at this and get rid of this, actually, let me scroll down. I want to read something down here. It says cops basically act. Here it says it tells officers that they can shoot first and think about it later. Now that is messed up if that's the case, because that's basically what this is doing. It's protecting them. Like, oh, you made a mistake. I mean, someone died, but we got you. You're protected. And it's like, no, that should not be the case. And if they reevaluate this and change it, that means they're going to have to, you know, every situation, like, man, if I do this wrong, my career's over, and that's like pressing on every situation. Then instead of going, I'm just going to react emotionally, boom, I just shoot because I'm, you know, my adrenaline's rushing and whatever. It's like they need to be trained. They need to know that they could be held responsible and will be held responsible. I think that's a huge difference between the way the police have been and what this would mean.
Man, I'm kind of leaning towards maybe we do need a fresh start. You know,
a fresh start sounds good.
Well, whatever that means, I'm not entirely sure. But I've been thinking a lot about the problem of government programs that just keep growing, and you don't solve the problem. So, you know, my opinion has always been like, I think government programs can be helpful, can be very important. The only problem is that once you create it, nobody wants to let it go because people get power, and then why would they give it up?
Yep.
Right. With the private sector, you start Blockbuster Video, you become the biggest empire in video content in the world, and then
the internet comes.
The internet comes, and you fail to buy Netflix, and you're gone.
You forgot to tell everyone to smash that like button.
That's right, Mr. Chance. No one will like our
Wink,
video.
No one will miss it.
Wink.
Smash.
So, well, yes, smash the like button, but no, but I think about government, and we create a program and we like sign it to law, and then it's there forever.
Yeah, exactly. And whether it works or not, whether it's outdated, which
no
a lot of them are.
This is funny. I'm seeing this thing about disbanding the police, and it sounds absurd on its face, but I know a lot of libertarians who are like, "Yep, get rid of them. The smallest possible government you can, and we will take care of ourselves." I know people who move to Mexico because they don't like the idea of police, and they want to be able to defend themselves with their own weapons and their own security.
Well,
and mind their own business.
I feel like that's what would happen. 2A argument is done.
Oh, no, you mean anti-2A?
Like, right.
Yeah, it's gone.
Anti-2A argument is
just
like, nope. Everyone, especially if this is where we're headed, it's like, okay, everyone should be armed. Everyone should be trained.
Is it like a utopian view where we live in a world where crime disappears because everyone's armed?
I don't think that's what would happen.
No, what do you think would happen?
No, so here's what I think would happen. I think that if the argument about the 2A actually really is resolved, if there's no more argument about that, and everyone agrees that we should get guns, and if we start holding ourselves accountable, like the guy was talking about from Black Lives Matter the other night, then we could have small police type forces, like little militias in each community, and we wouldn't have to have like a centralized policing. So it could be very decentralized, which I think is a great idea. Maybe
you actually just need detectives for investigating serious crimes.
Yeah.
All right.
You know, places like New York, you'd need, I mean,
like white collar crimes.
Yeah, but I think states have their own investigative bureaus.
Like that, yeah.
You know what I mean? That handles that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And local police, I think, would need administrative detectives for paperwork involving background checks and things of that nature.
Okay.
And then you have traffic, you know, meter maid type duty stuff.
So what would the courts be for then? You know, because
no, I think the courts take a stronger role in that regard. Dealing with conflict between, you know, when someone breaks in your house, because crime will still exist, certainly.
Right, exactly. It will.
But, you know, I kind of feel like we can do better. And the tactics that have been used have created this really impersonal and dangerous situation, in my opinion. Like the fact that cops don't care about you in big cities.
Yeah.
The big cities are trash holes.
Yeah, the force is too big.
Absolutely.
The people, there's too many people. Everything's,
right, exactly. So make it smaller.
But how would you do that? This building has, you know, armed people?
No, you could go by like almost like counties, or like even they're called wards, I think, in New York. I'm not familiar with New York, I'm sorry. But I saw like a very small like district almost is like maybe like a couple thousand people. And you could have a small force that looks after those people, and they would get to know at least somebody.
Just like there's different precincts within Brooklyn. There's many.
Yeah,
you know, and in Manhattan, you'd have like different
division.
Precincts of militia, essentially.
But that's what the police basically are.
I know, exactly.
They live there, they get hired, they go work in the office, and you wouldn't know them. There's too many people. Maybe the problem is too many people stacked on top of each other in big cities that smell like sour milk.
That's what I was saying the other day. It's like we should not be reliant on cities, because living in a city forces you to be reliant on other people. Yeah. You know, we should spread out.
Maybe cities are obsolete.
Yeah.
I think they are.
I'm starting to think
Maybe
so.
that's the problem.
I think so. We're all on top of each other. People are trying to tell you how to live, but you have no choice but to live in this spot.
We need Starlink. Is that what it's called? Starlink?
Starlink, yeah.
Elon Musk, save
Elon
us.
Musk, please
Once
come
we
save
have
us.
low latency,
Internet everywhere.
broadband satellite anywhere,
Anywhere, yeah.
then it's
That means
you know,
everyone connected. We got to get rid of grass, start making
Food instead, yeah.
our
Right.
own food, so we can actually survive by ourselves.
I read on the internet that you can pick grass and then suck the juice out,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll slowly die, but you'll die slower than
that
starving.
seems terrible.
Yeah.
Good to know.
So
thanks for that information.
I was,
Good
well,
to
because
know.
I was thinking about it, because I'm like, I'm sitting here as the world burns around me, because
Okay.
there's like there was a protest nearby here.
yeah.
Yeah, and it was announced, I guess, and there was rioting in Philly. It was nuts. They locked down. They shut the bridges down, and I'm like, what do we have to eat if everything went up? I'm like, I look in the backyard. I'm like, we got grass. It's like, can humans eat grass? No,
They cannot.
but you can take a nice bit of grass and suck on them, and you'll get a little bit out of them.
So I guess
You'll slowly die.
the deer people might have a leg up.
They might
on
have a
us.
leg-
Yes.
Oh, wow, you're right.
No, I'm sorry.
Oh, man, that's the way
The
to go.
trans deer people will keel over with
Whoa, not all of them are trans.
what?
Well, they're
They're not-
transhuman.
they're not
No, they're trans deer.
Yeah, transhuman.
They're trans deer, trans
yeah.
species.
They're otherkin.
Yeah,
All right.
oh, okay.
Get it right.
No. You're wrong.
Wait.
Oh, really?
Oh,
You are.
oh,
I don't
snap.
care.
What is other?
Otherkin are mythical creatures.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
Oh, excuse me.
Oh.
Sorry.
Somewhat.
Come on, Adam.
Sorry.
To be fair, I would say you're half wrong.
Okay.
So otherkin are people
I
who
will
would-
take that.
So you'll see otherkin where they say like they're an elvish dragon lord whose name is like Zaloris,
Mm-hmm.
Herald of the Winter Mist.
Nice.
Yeah.
You always come up with
I
some
know, he
killer
has the
names.
greatest
I'd be a
names.
great DM
yeah, you
for
would.
some D&D. You know?
You definitely would. Yeah.
But I so the trans species people are like the tiger person.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, that's what they think. So now those trans deer people, if they ate grass, they'd probably just keel over and die because
Okay.
you can't eat grass.
Right.
Because humans can't eat grass.
Yeah.
Anyway, your point was
I digress.
we should not have
Digress.
lawns. We should have
Do you see that?
mini
I
farms.
appreciate that. Yes, thank you.
We should spread out more. Humans should not be centralized
Yeah.
in major cities.
Totally.
It creates gigantic refuse bins where
Mm-hmm.
we just dump it all in the water and
Seriously.
then acidify the ocean.
Yep.
People got to get out of those cities.
And,
They're doing
and
it.
we have these major farm operations that are ruining the water systems.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
not good. We need to reevaluate all of that.
People are leaving the cities, though, right, Tim?
Yeah, they're fleeing.
Yeah.
Well, they were fleeing even before this.
Yeah.
And now there's a serious mass exodus from New York.
You know what?
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. We do the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. If you want to catch the full show, tune in to this channel, subscribe, hit the like button, or check us out on iTunes and Spotify. And we will soon have this podcast up for free on all podcast platforms. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all in the next episode.